Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Method to the Madness, our Breaking Bad edition. Today I'll be your host Mitchie, and joining me as usual is Patrick.
Hello.
And this time we're going to cover Season 4, Episode 5 of Breaking Bad, otherwise titled Shotgun. Shotgun, I just realized, refers to the little shotgun at the end of the episode that dude was carrying, and also Jesse's riding shotgun in the car the whole episode.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Nice. Because I was thinking there was a shotgun in this episode.
Yeah.
But, it's so insignificant. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good, right? It's a good name. But yeah, not a great deal actually happens in this episode. But anyway, we can get into it if you can read through the plot, Pat.
Yep. All right. Okay, so Walter is racing to Los Pollos Hermanos to confront Gus about Jesse's disappearance. Worried about what will happen, Walter leaves a voicemail for Skyler and his children. Walt learns that Gus is not in, and Mike eventually calls, explaining that Jesse is with him and will not be harmed, and tells Walter to go back to work. Over the course of the day, Mike drives Jesse to 7 isolated drop-off spots all over New Mexico, where Gus's dealers leave the money for meth sales for pickup. Jesse assumes he was brought along to watch Mike's back, but Mike denies this angrily after being asked too many times. He insists he doesn't know why he was asked to take Jesse, revealing how much is left in the dark by Gus. While waiting in the car alone at the last drop-off spot, Jesse notices 2 robbers approach. He slams the car in reverse, rams into their car, and drives off. When Jesse returns, Mike hints that he is impressed. It is later revealed that Gus set up the entire scene so that Jesse would consider himself a hero and take his life and work more seriously. See, okay, what I got from that scene was because Gus tested him because he wanted Jesse to, do more stuff for him. I mean, again, the Wikipedia summary is making that assumption that Jesse would consider himself a hero and take his life and work more seriously, which I don't think is wrong, but I don't think that's necessarily suggested.
Well, I mean, Mike does say at the end to Gus, now the kid thinks he's a hero.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But, whether it'll work or not to make him work more efficiently, we don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The start of this episode, fucking, just out of the blue, it's become, Need for Speed with Walt just zooming down the street like a nut job. It's kind of I guess, like you said last episode, I would assume it makes sense for Walt to think that Jesse's being murdered, right? Or is going to be murdered, hence the, the rush.
Yeah. To be fair to Walter, not telling him anything is really, counterproductive. What did they expect was going to happen?
Yeah.
Or was it their plan to rile Walter up?
Yeah, you're right. You could rile him up, but in terms of business, it's not a good point. Good thing to do, right, at all.
Yeah. And because you have an angry man, an angry, violent-looking man walking into Los Pollos Hermanos, which is, obviously Gus wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
Why not just tell him? I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of random. I do like the stakeout at the Los Pollos Hermanos restaurant, kind of at the very start, when he arrives there.
What, and he's just, sitting there and, being real paranoid?
Yeah, just with the music and stuff. It was good. It felt almost like a stakeout, I guess, in a Western.
That's me when I'm baked and in public.
Yeah, in McDonald's.
Yeah.
When
everyone's here to kill me.
Yeah.
we get another awesome time-lapse montage of them driving.
Yep.
How good was that?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and because, I was thinking about, how they would film that. So they have to probably stay in character for, a couple hours at a time, right? And just, or maybe, an hour, because, it doesn't really seem that long. But
it is, yeah. I wonder if they must have done it right with actually driving. You reckon on roads?
Yeah, of course. They just stuck a camera at the back of the car and just all right, drive from here to here and pretend or just act like your characters.
Yeah.
And I like in one of the stops, he's acting real bored and he starts playing with a stick and waving it around and you can see for half a second Mike is scolding him or something.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail.
Yeah. Jesse's such a kid, eh?
Yeah.
Where he
honestly.
acts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of almost, I don't know, it's kind of wholesome, that they're taking Jesse on this ride just to make him feel better because, I mean, these Mike and Gus are hardcore criminals. They'll murder someone if they have to. and they see no reason why they need to keep employing Jesse aside from the fact that Walt's going to get pissed off, and if Walt gets pissed off, they're going to lose money. So they're going for this like wholesome approach, like, oh, let's make Jesse feel good. We'll make him feel like a hero. We'll just set this whole scenario up and he can do what he wants. And, you know, it's just like, it's almost nice. Like
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it's Mike's idea, right?
Well, Mike did he just said like, oh, I just got told what to do. I don't really know why you're coming with me.
Oh, that's right.
That's what he said to Jesse, but you never know. Like Mike is sort of like that, plays hard, like appears hard, but is actually in the inside. Like he does have a heart somewhere in there, and maybe he did actually suggest it, but he just would never admit it to Jesse.
I think because it wasn't in the last episode, because Mike is the one who approaches Gus about his living situation, and he goes, "We need to do something about this."
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I assumed, because otherwise, because, you know, I feel like Gus's response would be like, yeah, just off him, whereas Mike would come there ready with an alternative, the solution.
Yeah. That's actually true. Yeah. No, I don't know, it's kind of nice. And it actually does build up to something, like, I can't quite recall, and obviously spoilers for the rest of the season, but I feel like, doesn't Walt end up Jesse kind of replaces Walt, right? And then Walt ends up being the one that's getting, like, has a risk of being murdered, like, you know,
right?
From what I recall, yeah. So it's setting up for that, I suppose.
Right, yeah. Gus is always like planning 5 steps ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Walter and Skyler officially buy the car wash. After Skyler hears the voicemail Walter left earlier, the two passionately make love, and she offers to let Walter move back in. But Walter leaves for the lab without giving an answer. Jesse has returned to the lab and explains to Walt that he will be working in the lab and also helping Mike with pickups from now on. Walter Jr. excitedly reveals to his father that Skyler already set the date for Walt to move back in, which seems to unnerve him. During dinner at Hank and Marie's, a brooding Walter gets increasingly tipsy on wine. Hank explains that he gave up investigating Gale further, having found a sense of closure in the death of the man he believed to be Heisenberg, but Lord's Gale's genius. A prideful Walter then insists that Gale was not a genius and suggests that he was copying someone else's work. This convinces Hank to take another look at the case files, and he notices that the strictly vegan Gale has notes scribbled on a napkin from Los Pollos Hermanos.
I guess Walt and Skyler have sex. That's kind of important.
Well, because they were already sort of like rebuilding their relationship. Because you know, and Skyler's helped Walt create this whole story, and she's just slowly, you know, as Walt has become, you know, desensitized to being a criminal, Skyler's also kind of, you know, on that path as well. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, she's adopting their criminal persona.
Yeah. And then, the scene where Walt comes back to the lab and sees Jesse.
Mm.
And then, you know, he's like, "What were you doing?" And Jesse goes, "I'm guarding Mike." And he goes, the look on his face when he says, you guarded Mike. And just the absolute incredulity in his voice.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Jesse takes offense to that, which, you know, fair enough. But Walt is obviously right. Like that's sus, right? Mike obviously doesn't need a bodyguard, so something else is up.
Yeah, but I think the reason why Jesse doesn't like it and Jesse takes offense is because he was a hero, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that's classic Walt, like, thinking Jesse is just useless, can't help anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you know, Walt is right in the sense that, you know, there's another angle to this, but yeah, I mean, this just further reinforces Jesse's, like, you know, that Walt looks down at his nose at Jesse.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, and then is this the first time we see Tyrus?
No, we've seen him before a few times.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think once. Again, doesn't say anything though.
Yeah, he just never says anything. So.
Yeah, but they never do. That's like what I've always noticed. That it's just everyone deliberately just doesn't say anything to Walt when Walt will just be talking 99% of the time, asking questions, and then they'll just not respond. They'll give him a dead-eyed look or something. Victor did it. Mike does it. Tyrus does it. You know, Gus even does it too. And it's like, pretty soon Jesse will be doing it. And it's like, just everyone's kind of like fed up with Walt talking so much.
Yeah, he does like to talk.
Yeah.
Talking, I mean, to be fair, talking has got him out of literal life and death situations.
Yeah, well, it's his only power, right, really?
Yeah,
And it also makes him feel comfortable. Like, you know, during the box cutter scene, all Walt is doing is talking. He's the only one talking.
Exactly. Yeah, the scene when Walt gets too drunk I've seen this maybe 3 or 4 times. It's always painful to watch this scene.
Yep.
Because as the summary says, Hank literally just let go of the Heisenberg case. He put it to rest. And then Walt has to go and fucking, because of his ego, as Hank says, next season, spoilers, you and your fucking ego.
Yeah.
He just fucks it all up.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's just because of his hubris, like he's really fucking himself over, no one else, his whole family too. But I suppose he doesn't know that Hank dropped the case.
Right, yeah.
Maybe if he knew that, then he'd probably hold his tongue, but I don't know. He was fucking drunk though, and he was and Bryan Cranston did a good job. It was pretty convincing. The drunkenness, yeah.
And then I like Hank talking about Bedecker as well. Walter Jr. goes, "Oh, the crazy guy," and then Hank goes, "No, he wasn't crazy. He was just eccentric." And it sounds like he's got some actual like remorse for him, almost.
Yeah, I feel like Hank does. Yeah, it's just like
I
don't know. Maybe he just sees how weird this dude is, and is like, I don't know, realizes that he's not really a criminal. It doesn't seem like someone who's a murderer or anything. Yeah,
it really sort of confounds his his sense of like criminal or good and bad, I suppose.
Yeah, and his stereotypes, like his views of kind of apparently, according to Wikipedia, this was the lowest rated episode by IGN.
IGN, the pinnacle of fucking media review.
Yeah, but like apparently for them, out of their reviews, it was the only one that scored less than 8. I know IGN do fucking game reviews, don't they? Since when did they do like Breaking Bad reviews?
IGN is notorious for giving shit reviews. And I'm seeing here as well in 2019, The Ringer ranked Shotgun 60th out of 62 total Breaking Bad episodes. The Ringer, I actually really like The Ringer. They have a bunch of videos on Better Call Saul that are really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of them.
I think it's weird because they mainly talk about sports.
Yeah, but for some reason, it's a sports website.
Yeah, some reason they really like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Well, needless to say, I think maybe this isn't one of the best episodes out of the series, but I didn't mind it. It wasn't much going on. Like, none of the episodes are bad anyway, but like you eventually have to pick one that's the worst, right? Like, it's always the worst. So
it's still, that's the thing about this show. Every episode is important.
Yeah, exactly. Can't flaw any of them. Got anything else?
Nah, that's it.
Cool. Join us next time for season 4, episode 6.
All right. See you next time.
See ya.
Who knows? Hank, not to tell you your business, but I'm not sure I agree.
What do you mean?
Well, you showed me that notebook, and from what I saw, and this is just my humble opinion, from what I saw on those papers, genius? Not so much.
If you like this series, Mitch is going to tell you where you can find more of these.
Yep, so you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher, and we've also got a website, amttm.com, where you can find our fabulous episodes on Breaking Bad.
If you have any questions, queries, insights, or criticism, you can send them to mail@amttm.com.
And as always, thank you for listening.